Hey guys, it's TTL back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a quick look, as in a preview, of the Z590 gaming Wi-Fi. Now, the reason why it's a quick preview is the boards are still compatible with 10th gen, so they are backwards compatible, but I'm going to wait until the 11th gen processors turn up so that we can review them that way with new stuff rather than doing it twice. Now, I've already had the box open and had a look inside because I've taken pictures and I've put information on the website. It's a bit light inside, if I'm honest. So what you get is the normal driver's CD, wish this was a USB, stickers and a manual, which is pretty cool. You get a pretty cool, yeah, all right, Tom. The ROG keyring, which was floating around with the last gen boards. They've changed the Wi-Fi antenna. It's magnetic and it goes up either way, and I much prefer this to the old one that they had. The old one was just clunky and not very nice. This is pretty cool. Now I'll show you this in a very brutal way, but essentially there's a big magnet on the bottom and it's a GPU stand and it's adjustable. So that can go in your case as well, depending on if you've got the room underneath your graphics card or it's not too far away, because you're never going to know. Then you get 4 normal plastic SATA cables, the normal screws and stuff for your M.2s and all of that sort of thing in the box. And then there is also a little fan, which you'll see where it's meant to go in a minute. So, first look at the board itself and the little guest while we're filming. So, we'll zoom into the top of the board so that we can have a look. So you can see on the top left hand side you have an 8-pin and a 4-pin power connector. You'll need to put the 8-pin connector in first, and just moving the board just quickly, you can see that the 8-pin is shielded. Yeah, you can, there you go. You can see that it's shielded. Also, to the right hand side you can see a fan header. Now that is marked for the PWM fan, which was the little fan that I showed you that you can screw in here should you want to, but you can use it for other things as well, so it's not restricted to that. Then when we come across, the first thing that I do want to do is zoom you in there, because it looks like it's a missing fan header at first glance, but it's actually not, because if you look just carefully underneath, you can see it says VRM test, and that's so you can put a multimeter on there so you can test the VRMs. Going to get more information about that when I get the reviewer's guide, because at the moment I've got a web address which literally just has a list of specifications in it, and the list of the specifications is basically this. That's all the information on the website I've been able to find. So like when we get around the back, I'll tell you about the Wi-Fi and the gigabit Ethernet and the 2 gigabit Ethernet and stuff like that. So it is a bit limited online. But anyway, zooming back in, you can see that you have 2 fan headers there. One of them's a CPU, one of them's a CPU optional. That's what we got confused about with what was up here with the mapping. Then you get 2 RGB connectors. One of them is a 4-pin, one of them is a 3-pin. 3-pin's addressable, 4-pin is non-addressable. Then you can see that you've got PCI poster readout, and then there are some very tiny SMD LEDs above that, and that's for, it gives you your poster readout. So I know the camera's going to have an absolute fit because I've got this in my hand now, but there you go. So you can see, and I can't. You can see the poster readout. Sometimes they're down the side of motherboards, sometimes they're above like that. But the information is there, and that's the main thing. Then your 24-pin connector, go down below that, USB 3.1 Gen 2. Then a normal USB 3. There does appear to be a header missing here though. And that's the first time I've noticed that. I wonder what it's for. There's definitely 4 contacts there that look like it could have something in it. Interesting. I didn't notice that when I was taking pictures. Then you get a total of 6 SATAs, a couple more fan headers. Now I need to move the tripod. Normal pinouts for the front panel connectors. That's all kind of easy. Water pump header, that will run 12 volts by the way, natively. That's actually a really good one that you can smash a high-speed fan into if you're in a hurry. Again, some more contacts. I didn't notice those before again either. Beside that, you then get 2 USB 2 outputs. Brilliant if you've got a power supply and an AIO or that sort of thing. I'm just going to move the board so that we can see the writing at the bottom, because then you can see that you've got a Thunderbolt header, which will be a lot for some. I was looking around because I was hoping it would have the Asus node connector, and I can't see it at all. I don't know whether they've discontinued their efforts with that, because I didn't really see a lot of stuff. Anyway, then you've got USB. Come on, Tom, sort it out. Then you've got RGB. Now they are 2 addressable, which is quite interesting. Normally at the bottom you'd see a 4-pin and a 3-pin, but they've gone dual addressable. Then you've got the audio out section, which we'll talk about a little bit in a minute. And you've got 2 NVMe mounts here. It looks like there's another one here, but I don't know whether there's another one underneath the top heatsink, because again, I haven't had a lot of information come through about it, but I don't know. It looks very NVMe heatsink-ish, for want of a better term. So what I'm going to do is we can have a look together on the box. Storage, yeah, it does say. It's also one of the headers actually does say that it does PCI Express, but also SATA. And you can also see here PCI Express 4, PCI Express 4, PCI Express 4. But with the PCI Express 4, that's CPU dependent. If the CPU isn't PCI Express 4, which, let's face it, it's going to be 11th gen, it won't work. You'll just get normal Gen 3 speeds. And I'm assuming that the old boards will work fine with that as well, which we will see. Anyway, up to the top. 14 plus 2 phases around that socket, and they are teamed as well. So they're saying, 14 plus 2 power stages with Pro-Cool, Power-Cool connectors, high-quality alloy chokes, and durable capacitors to support multi-core processors. And they're calling it an optimal power solution. Yes. And then they're also saying an optimized thermal design, VRM, and aluminium heatsink. I don't think they got that very well. Look, optimized VRM and aluminium. Okay. Maybe I'm just reading it and being a little bit dim at the moment, but anyway, well, I'm dim at the best of times, aren't I? So, flicking round to the back, we can see that we have a HDMI and a display port at the top. If you put a dedicated graphics card in your rig, you don't need these. But the Intel processors, for the most part, all have onboard iGPUs, which some of us use for fault finding or the initial boot or like overclocking and stuff. If you're building a gaming rig, you're not going to need to use these. And I know that's a very beginner thing, but sometimes I like to mention these things, not because you may need to know it, but it might help you remind somebody else in the PC Master Race community that they might need to know it. Then we've got a couple of normal USB 2s, and one of them is the BIOS flashback section here. You've also got a clear CMOS button and the BIOS flashback button here. The BIOS flashback one sticks out more than the clear CMOS one. I suppose that's for safety. Anyway, then we have 4 USB 3s, and then moving further down, you've got USB 3.2 Gen 2, and you've got 2 A's and 2 C's. But I'm not seeing anything about these C's having anything to do with Thunderbolt. There is a Thunderbolt header on the board, but that normally does mean that you have a separate add-in card. Now, networking wise above it, you can see that you've got 2 connectors, and it's not gigabit Ethernet, it's 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. Now, do remember, children, that's not going to make your internet faster. It's all about internal networking. And if you're going to use 2.5G, you're going to need to upgrade other things in your network, like network cards and stuff, and routers. Some routers will have a 2.5 gigabit connection, but normally if it's networking, it's moving between PCs. So you would need then the other PC to have 2.5 gig Ethernet as well. So you can't just upgrade one bit because it will just bottleneck everything else. Below it you can see the antenna outputs, gold antenna outputs as well, for the Wi-Fi, and that's actually Intel Wi-Fi, and it's Wi-Fi 6E, and it's the AX210, and it's 802.1AX. So yeah, pretty quick, or almost like the quickest Wi-Fi on there for you should you want to use it. And then below that you do get the audio, and I've got no information on the audio whatsoever. I'm scanning down through because I'm shocked, but they haven't given me oh no, I do apologise, stop the press. Industry leading gaming audio, ALC 4080, and it's Savitech SV3H712 amplifier, along with DTS sound onboard, Unbound, and Sonic Studio 3. I do apologise for that. Anyway, I have one little thing before we go, which is one of the things I can do with my magic cable. We still have a guest, bless her. So, lighting in 3 areas. This is new as well. But this top section on the I/O, when we zoom in, it looks better zoomed in on the camera than it does to the naked eye. I don't like this blurred, multi kind of effect. So I just put the ROG eye on it rather than making me feel like I'm drunk. Now, a lot of people in lockdown are drunk. I was one of them, and I'm trying not to be one of them. And I don't like it. End of discussion. We will move on. Don't like that. The heatsink there for the 4th PCI Express NVMe cover. It's the first time I have ever seen one of those lit up, and props to them for that, because I really like it. It's a small thing, but I like that. And there is also a little note of light on the bottom of the chipset heatsink. And if you have a look and you've got a normal 2-slot card, you're going to have a little bit of light above and a little bit of light below. I also like that as well. So there's minimal onboard RGB, but you do get 2 addressable and 1 normal 4-pin. Don't forget you can buy splitters easily online if you need more of them or you want to make stuff tidy. Anyway, no testing, not a lot of point. We'll wait for the new processors, and then you'll just hear me moaning that this should have been what Z590 was, and what was the point, and all of that sort of stuff. That's pretty much what everyone's going to be saying. It's already what I'm thinking, but I'll leave that with you for now. This has been the Strix Z590E gaming. Always have to put the gaming on the end, don't they? There's a lot of rambling in this one. I do apologise. Hope you like looking at the board though. Tiny Tom Logan out.